Hello, welcome to the Q. I don't know if you're an NFL fan, but playoff game today. Chiefs had a very bad first quarter. Block punt for a touchdown, fumble on the 6-yard line, drop passes all over the place. Before you know it, it's 24-0. But then the second quarter came and the Chiefs fixed it. But it was a very intense game. So here I am recovering from a good game because we won, but very, very, very intense. The reason for this video lead into a video that I shot in 2018 on anti-tank gun house rule and making those. It was the first video I shot thinking that, yeah, I'd like to do a YouTube channel, and I did it, and it kind of got pushed away, and then some things came around, and in 2019 finally got it going. But the video that I'm about to show is some of the clips from that first experimental video in 2018. The other thing I want to mention is I've discovered a playlist feature on YouTube, and I've made the BBR 1942 setup YouTube game that I played in earlier this year. I made that into one full playlist feature. I think it has 40 some videos in it, and you put it up on the big screen, sit back with a snack and a drink, and hit play all, and you can watch about 95% of the videos. Looks like a couple were deleted and some were sent privately. I don't have those in there, but you can see everybody's turn, and I may do that here in a little bit, but you got to have some time. It's a commitment. I've also created a second playlist for house rule videos, and this one will go right in there. So enjoy the video, and I will talk to you later. Another project working on here is these flight stands that I got from War Torn. Usually do those in about sets of 10 or so it's not too monotonous. But one thing that's real handy is these tweezers that are non-magnetic. So you can easily pick those up, and put those where they need to go without getting your fingers too close to the glue. And another thing too, on these planes like the Japanese, I don't know if that shows up in there, you just kind of carve a little flat spot for the magnet to sit, on that rounded fuselage, and they stick on there pretty well. The third item that I'm working on today is anti-tank guns, and it's kind of a house rule item that I've been toying with. Basically, you want to get a 4 IPC unit that kind of defends. We have, the mechanized infantry that goes 2 spaces. So if you're buying that, if you want to go distance, or you're buying the artillery, for an offense at 2, or the combined arms to bring up the infantry. But this is a 4 IPC unit for defense. The premise is it defends at a dice roll of 3 on a d6, and would attack, like infantry at a 1. So these are units you would buy for defense, like if you were defending Normandy, or Moscow, or the Japanese later in the game would probably put some of these out for defensive measures. But the one thing I wanted to do was to keep it separate from the artillery. So you've got the artillery here, British artillery. I mean, it has a little bit of a round section on there, but that's just the sculpt of the 25-pound British artillery unit. It's a really good sculpt to include that much detail. But the idea was to get an artillery piece, since they don't make anti-tank guns, and I'm just gluing a round base to the bottom so that signifies you're going to be an artillery piece. So we're cutting off the stands from the soldiers, and then to make it sit on there, we're cutting a section off of that base so that this can sit on there you know, real smooth. Like with glue, it lays flat. So, and then we're going to do that with, you know, U.S., Britain, Japan, Italy, Russia, ANZAC. For the German unit, we're going to use a Micro Armor 88 set. Came with 5, and you just glue the bases on. It's basically a 2-piece unit to put together, and you got to take all the little shavings off. We'll take the base off the German and put the whole 88 right on top of that, spray paint it black, and we'll see how that works. The metal part, I'm a little worried about, you know, that gun getting bent up and disfigured as we go on with, you know, storage and usage by different people. So we'll see how that works out, but we'll do the same thing for the US and Japan, and I don't have the soldiers yet to cut off bases for Russia and Italy and ANZAC, and we'll get that. Going to order that from HBG. Like these units here, I got from them as well. It's a Russian artillery from a different version than Global, so that'll signify that, along with the round base. Same with the Italian version. You just go on there, and there's a section for old pieces from previous Allied versions, or Axis and Allied versions, and you can get that ordered. Here is the finished product for the day, with the damage markers and the flight stands that I decided to do. The anti-tank guns, with the exception of the painting of the German ones black, are done, and those pieces are, for the most part, different than the out-of-box artillery on the top there, with the exception of the Japanese and American pieces. They have the round base on them, so that's really going to set them apart, I think. Keep it from being confused. To get there, here's the casualty pile. It's kind of sad. We'll look away from that. But that had to be done. So one other thing that I might mention, if you haven't used a super glue gel, I would recommend that, because that was a lot easier to work with than the runny super glue I was previously using. So I'm excited that that worked out, and excited to get these anti-tank guns in game and see how they work. See ya. Another object we're doing here today is working on these flight stands that I got from War Torn. One thing that's real handy is these little, what are they called? What in the world? For the German anti-tank gun, we're going to use a microwave. I did buy these thinking that they might work from HGB. Actually, that's HBG. Never mind.